The 2022 rookie class was really quite impressive, but the 2023 class should have you excited as well, especially if you are a fan of a team with a high profile prospect expected to play in the NHL next season. These 10 players are those whom I think have a legit chance of winning the 2023 Calder Trophy. The first player on this list is, of course, Yuri Slafkovsky. Now, I have no idea if Slafkovsky is even going to play in the NHL next season. I suspect he will get the 9-game tryout and then be sent either to the AHL or back to Finland. If he does stick on the roster, though, he could be a Calder candidate. Given his status as a first overall pick, it would be foolish not to at least mention him. Next, and my only other 2022 draft player is Shane Wright. Generally speaking, I get the impression that Seattle is in no hurry to rush their prospects to the NHL. This could mean Shane Wright ends up back in the OHL next season. If he does make the team, though, he stays past the 9-game tryout threshold, he could be one of the Calder favorites. He should have a pretty decent opportunity to play in the top 6, giving him the ice time he would need to put up points worthy of the Calder conversation. Now, this next player is one of the guys who is probably going to be seen as a favorite going into the season, or one of the favorites, and that is William Ecklund. After a 2022 draft in which the Sharks went for quantity over quality, William Ecklund remains their top prospect by a wide margin. He got the 9 NHL game tryout last season, in which he scored 4 assists. He was very poised for a player of his age and size, leading me to believe he could be an impact player as a rookie. I am a Sharks fan, so I'm a bit biased, but I do believe Ecklund is one of the Calder favorites going into the season. Next, we have John Jason, aka JJ Paterka. Paterka scores goals. Last season in the AHL, he scored 28 of them to go along with his 40 assists for 68 points in 70 games. It is pretty obvious to me that he is ready for the NHL. He has the added advantage of having played against men in each of his last 3 seasons, this past year in the AHL and the 2 previous in the DEL. In theory, it should be easier for him to adapt to the physicality of the NHL, which would give him an edge in putting up points. Next, I have Toronto Maple Leafs prospect Nick Robertson. It is no secret that Robertson's development hasn't exactly been smooth sailing thus far in his young career. That being said, when he was healthy, he played quite well this past season, scoring 28 points, 16 of which were goals in 28 AHL games. I would be surprised if he didn't make the Leafs for good out of training camp, although he will likely need to force his way towards the top of the lineup. This is what is going to likely hold him back from being a true Calder contender, as a lot of these other players are likely going to get a much better opportunity to put up points in terms of ice time and line mates. Next, I have Ottawa Senators defenseman Jake Sanderson. When Jake Sanderson was drafted 5th overall in 2020, many questioned his offensive upside. It seems, though, that this part of his game has developed quite nicely, as he put up 26 points in 23 games last season in the NCAA with the University of North Dakota. Given Ottawa's lack of scoring on the back end, I wouldn't be surprised to see Sanderson get a decent opportunity to put up points, and if he could come anywhere near his NCAA level production, he should be close to the podium, if not a favorite to win. Next, I have Alexander Holtz. Holtz will probably spend next season with the New Jersey Devils. If he does, he could be a dark horse for the Calder. Overall, he had a very strong season in the AHL, scoring 51 points in 52 games, although his production fell off a decent bit in the second half of the season. 3 points in 5 playoff games is also not particularly inspiring for a potential Calder candidate, but the Devils are a team I expect will score a lot of goals next season, and the Calder often comes down to who's scored the most points, so Holtz has an outside shot at being in the top 3. Next, I have another defenseman in Simon Edvinsson. Edvinsson admittedly is probably one of the weaker candidates in this video. Given Moritz Seider exists, he is unlikely to see any power play 1 time with Detroit next season, and that is assuming he plays. I do expect him to make the team, but he is going to have to improve on his SHL production from last season in order to be in the race. 2 goals and 19 points in 44 games would be on pace for about 4 goals and 35 points in an 82-game season, and that is assuming that his production in the SHL will translate 1-to-1 to the NHL, which is unlikely. That being said, he is another dark horse to look out for. Next, I have Logan Stankoven. Stankoven is coming off of one of the best CHL seasons in recent memory. 104 points in 59 regular season games is impressive enough for a draft +1 player, but Logan was just getting warmed up. He scored nearly 2 points per game in the WHL playoffs, scoring 17 goals and 31 points in 17 games. The Stars have been known to slow burn their prospects in the past, but with a new head coach in town, perhaps younger players like Stankoven could have an opportunity to earn a bigger role. For Logan, that would mean making the team in the first place, which is no guarantee. But if he does, he could earn a spot on the second line given Dallas's inability to generate offense of any kind outside their top line of Robertson, Hintz, and Pavelski. Finally, the last candidate I have in this video is Sabres defenseman Owen Power. Power played with the Sabres at the end of last season upon the conclusion of his NCAA career. During the call-up, I thought he didn't look out of place much at all. The cherry on top was the offense he brought to Buffalo's blue line. In his 8 games, he scored 2 goals and added an assist, which is actually quite impressive, for me at least. I wouldn't expect him to score goals at that rate over the course of a whole season, but if he can come somewhat close, he could easily put himself in the Calder conversation. If you did like this video, please do be sure to like it, that really helps me out. Thanks for watching guys, and as always, have a nice day.